What do you think? We're at UC Santa Barbara. We're at the most attractive school in the nation by the ranks, and apparently the biggest party school in the nation. What do you think so far?
I'm loving it so far. This has been the best like week of my life so far. I mean, people are just so much more approachable and friendly
Yeah.
here. It's night and day compared to where we used to go to school at UC Santa Cruz.
It is a lot better, yeah. For those who don't know, UC Santa Cruz, it's very hippie. It's very how do you say people with blue hair are everywhere. I don't know how you describe it.
They're
It's
in the
kind of
trees.
they are in
I'm
the
not I'm
trees.
not even joking. Like they are in the trees.
Everyone is in the trees.
It's a tree. It's a forest school.
But I mean, I don't know. So far, UC Santa Barbara, it's like how would you describe it? I mean, it's like it's very
I mean, it's beach.
party esque. It's very beach school.
A lot
UC
of
Santa Cruz is not a beach school.
we're where we're located right now. We're a 2 minute walk from the beach.
It's true.
Um, I mean, I originally went to UC Santa Cruz thinking it was a beach school. My mistake.
Yeah.
It turned out to be foresty, and this is a good course correct for me. Uh,
It's true. I feel the same way. Like I was like Santa Cruz, like the Santa Cruz boardwalk, like it's literally made for the beach. And then I ended up going my freshman year of college, like a total of 2 times. Like people were just not down to go to the beach. They just kind of wanted to smoke weed in their
well, it
dorm
was
rooms.
cold. Half the
Yeah,
year.
it was
No,
freaking
it was
cold.
really
I don't
windy.
know.
It was yeah. Well, anyway, this is a we're not bashing Santa Cruz. We're
We're
lifting
not.
up
Oh yeah,
Santa
that's right.
Barbara.
That's right. We're talking about Santa Barbara. I almost forgot. Santa Cruz. Okay, it was great. We did transfer for a reason though. Weren't the biggest fan of the clientele. By and large, we had some really great friends here. I know I did. I know you found your people too. But by and large, I just wanted variety.
This guy,
I found him too.
pretty cool guy.
Yeah, this guy too. I like this guy. Uh, um, but I knew I needed something new. Like, as you know, I grew up in Wisconsin until I was like 6. Then I moved to San Luis Obispo, California. Then I also spent 5 years in New York, then a year in Albany, California, then Spain, and now Santa Barbara. And I just knew I needed to like continue like the trend of like having more variety in my life. So I want to come out here.
Yeah, I mean, you've been moving a while. I've stayed pretty stationary. I'm from Berkeley,
Uh huh.
as you know,
Right.
Berkeley, California. Go Bears. I moved down to Albany, California, which is like the next city over, not New York. Um, Around 3 years ago, right before I went to Santa Cruz, so not a huge change. And then yeah, Santa Cruz was 2 years, still pretty Bay Area esque. It's not the Bay Area, but close enough. And now we're here. This is firmly not in the Bay Area. So this is the first place I've lived that's completely separate from a lot of that, which is it's been a really nice change of pace. I mean, I thrive in environments where there are a lot of people and where it's very social. So I'm super glad that I found this area now.
Yeah, there are differences between like the Bay Area and LA. Like for those of you living in California, you're probably aware the Bay Area it just attracts a different demographic. It's like Silicon Valley, there's a lot of AI people, a lot of like computer science people. I myself, I'm a math major. I study mathematics. So that's what initially drew me to that area because one day I wanted to live in Silicon Valley. I'm in the process of starting my own AI company right now. So I have a lot on my plate and wanted to make connections. But yeah, I think UC Santa Cruz is a bit of a caveat because they seem to just not mesh with that kind of whole thing. Like I know Silicon Valley, it starts in San Jose, but a lot of Bay influence up there. But down here in Santa Barbara, it's like a lot more like what would you say, LA influence?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much experience in LA. My grandparents were from there, but I haven't been there in ages. They moved to Vegas now. Um, but yeah, definitely from what I remember from LA, it takes a lot more cues from that spot than from any part of the Bay Area I've been in. It's way more lax. It's just people keep busy and people keep focused, which is something that we've both found to be lacking in Santa Cruz. And no, Berkeley was pretty focused, but there were two sides of that. There were some very hyper focused people, and there are also Berkeley people.
Right. And it is better in terms of, prestige and academics. I mean, it is still UC Santa Barbara. It's not blowing things out of the water as far as California colleges are concerned. We still have your giants like UCLA, Stanford, and Berkeley, but I could definitely tell even from just being here a week. Like we literally moved in September 17th or something and 18th. And I've already noticed there's a differential between in the quality of people here, like there's not a lot of people who, just smoke weed and stay in their dorm rooms, which is like fine. Like I'll do that like once a month maybe, but when people are doing it every day versus here, I feel like people are a lot more driven in their own respects. Like I personally, I've met a lot of people who are into the AI space or, even the medical space. It's a big medical school here. A lot of people I know, they want to reinvent medicine and just like essentially find business solutions to move forward with. And like that's just like that's the kind of stuff that I like. Like I wanted to find people that were like-minded and ambitious and driven. And I mean, so far you can tell me what you think, but I've found people that I really jive with and that have been like very ambitious and have a lot of traits I admire.
Yeah, well, I found that people here are very well rounded. Everybody has multiple things going on for them. Back in Santa Cruz, I kind of just realized that if you were ambitious, if you were driven, that's kind of all you were really doing. It was more of you lacked a certain social aspect. If you were hyper focused on one specific like goal that you wanted to reach. And then, I mean, everybody, there are exceptions to this, but here it's really like
big exceptions.
Yeah,
I mean, we're not dogging on Santa Cruz. We have a lot of good friends out there.
Yeah, we're not dogging on Santa Cruz. But yeah, no, here it's just been really like everybody has their bases covered. Everybody has a lot going on for them. You can be pursuing your major. That's like some, super advanced, like, biotechnical engineering or something like that. And also be a member of multiple clubs, be doing intramural sports. Just being not this guy who like 3D printing a bunch and he bought a 3D printer and he just does it in his room. Like just a bunch of super sick stuff. That doesn't just like align to what your ultimate like what your major is or what your drive is in life. Also, you said you were a math major. I'm a international relations, political science major.
Big diplomat guy, right?
Yeah,
here.
I want to be a diplomat. Yeah, I mean, I speak Spanish and French, so that's my, not to self-glaze, but
a little bit.
Hey. But that's where I'm headed. That's where I want to be headed.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, as we've said before, like a lot more driven people here. I like what you said about like bases covered. Like there's just, you can find anyone here, but you can also completely go away from that and just party all the time.
You can be degenerate as hell.
Yeah, no, seriously. Like that's something we've noticed. I mean, we were out last night till 5 a.m. Yeah, 5 a.m. Isla Vista. What can I say? It's definitely the number one party school for a reason. Most attractive school, I guess, too. That's probably just because you moved here. Gay romance aside, yeah, you can definitely get into a lot of stuff. There's a lot of Santa Barbara community kids here who, what do they call it? An MIP.
I love that they just roam. There's this one street, DP Del Playa, and you'll see kids in these like fits that are they're just there from like to party, and they're just roaming the street looking for stuff to do. And you go up, you ask, "Hey, do you go to this school?" And they're like, "Oh no, we go to the community college." It's like I love it. It's just all they do is just roamers on the street.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, MIPs.
MIPs. For those who don't know, MIPs stand for minor in possession. I don't know what it is, but especially with Isla Vista, like the cops here are assholes.
They are
like
the
Isla Vista Foot Patrol. Like literally the other day, like him and I, we were just like going to a party, super casual, and I just like had to take a piss, so I went off the road. Like I went all the way to like the fence that was overlooking the beach, and I just started to take a piss, and all of a sudden this sheriff guy swings his massive ash like car flashlight onto me. It like walks over to me, shines his like flashlight on my dick. He's like, how's the piss? I'm like, bro, not good, because you came over to him. And I was just like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I'll never do it again, like I'll hold it next time. And he let me out. But no,
I think that was the night. That was the night our friend got arrested too.
We did have a friend,
22-year-old, not even a minor.
Yeah, 22 years old.
We lose them for like what, 5 minutes? Was it
5 minutes?
We're like, where are you?
Party.
Yeah, we're at some party. We lose them for 5 minutes. Ask our other friend to check their location. Oh, the county jail, like 20-minute drive away. Mind you, they live on that street on Del Playa. So, cops, they didn't drive her home or anything. They booked her.
Literally, the cops had to pass her house to get to jail. And they made the assumption that there's this drunk 22-year-old girl. She wasn't that drunk. Like, she wasn't throwing up. She wasn't falling over. She was just, tipsy, fun, like frat party, like literally every student at Isla Vista. And instead of deciding to take her home and like tuck her into bed, they put her in a freaking jail cell with like, apparently I talked to her later, no food, no water. She was with like a crazy lady on her bunk. Like I think second night in Isla Vista, in Santa Barbara, and she's already getting booked out by the cops. Like, I don't know. That's just like not a good culture here, in my opinion.
Well, yeah. We also saw this guy. I think it was our first or second night too, who were coming up from the beach. I think we were taking another scenic piss.
We were taking another piss. Yeah.
Overlooking the beach. I guess that's what we've done a lot of
pissing.
Yeah. And we're walking up these stairs, and these two guys run up to us, and we learn later they don't go to Santa Barbara or anything. They're from Florida, and they're running up. One of them has a paper, and he's like holding out like a scroll, and he's just yelling, like MIP, MIP. I just got an MIP. he was like celebrating it. And he was like, yeah, like I just got a minor in possession. We dapped him up. I mean, he was drunk as fuck, but yeah, just that was kind of my realization. And then
took it as a point of pride, like, yeah, I got this MIP. I'm gonna pay this $400 fine. Let's freaking go.
Oh yeah, and they're expensive. Like the cops here do not play.
Oh yeah.
No, it's they're actually right out of our window. Our room is this way. We can see there's the IV Foot Patrol. So it's a police station like positioned 2 blocks away from the beach and 1 block from the DP, like the main party street.
Right. IV short for Isla Vista, which is the local living community here at Santa Barbara.
What is Goleta? I always hear the word Goleta, and it's like I don't.
So Santa Barbara, to my knowledge, is like Santa Barbara is like the town. Like it's like the old folks town, a lot of elderly people. Like Oprah lives here. I think like Justin Bieber lived here for a while.
Oprah.
Like you get a car,
Yeah, I want a car.
Yeah. But like Goleta is, I don't know, like a local town nearby, which is, what's the significance of Goleta?
I don't know. I just heard the word Goleta a lot.
There's no significance of Goleta, basically.
The friends we made along the way.
Exactly.
Jesus, my voice. I've been talking nonstop for a week straight.
Nonstop yapping this whole week.
Completely lost my voice. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, IV short for Isla Vista, which is the living community here at UC Santa Barbara. That's where all the parties go down. Like you're not going to find anything on campus, partly because the RAs are assholes and all the people on campus are freshmen. Other than us, we were cursed that we were the only like juniors that I've met who live on campus so far. Literally everyone I've met my age is in like Isla Vista. So I just turned 21, so you have a lot of freshmen who are like, "Oh, can you like buy us alcohol?" I'm like, "No, you're like 17 years old." That actually happened, by the way. A 17-year-old first week asked me, "Yeah."
Where was I?
You were there.
Oh.
The girl, I forget her name, but she was 17 years old. She's like, "Can you buy me alcohol?" I'm like,
"Oh,
bro, where are your parents?"
Like, okay,
like,
buddy.
What are you doing here? Like, go, I don't know, go play with your Pokemon or some shit.
Yeah. Hey, Ashley, I want to correct you. RA is pretty chill. I don't know her name.
We've like talked to her twice,
but she was chill. The first time, actually, we told her our names.
Her both times.
Yeah, we told her our name. We saw her in the hallway, and we're like, "Oh, hey, like I'm Marco. This is Evan." And she's like, I know. I've been in your rooms.
Yeah, what the hell?
I thought that was chill. Like, that was like funny.
She had
I don't
like,
know if she like meant it on purpose, but
she had like a serial killer Patrick Bateman like as response. She's like, "Oh yeah, I know who you are. I've been in your room." Super freaking creepy.
thought it was silly. I don't know.
But every other time was cool. We went to the little RA meeting. We kind of just mogged the whole time, and then wait, show him the Zoolander. Crazy guy. I never learned how to move my eyebrows independently.
Yeah, it's a inherited trait. I don't know. I
It's a
have both
Colombian
eyebrows.
thing.
No, it's actually my dad, Jewish.
It's a Jewish thing.
That's how my parents met. They were both journalists working in San Francisco, and they passed each other, and they make eye contact, and my dad just goes, and I don't know the rest, but I know that's what they've told me.
Yeah. And
I'm
then
not
he,
kidding.
and then
That's
he
actually
got
how
her.
they met. He just raised his eyebrow. Like,
He like rizzed her up with the eyebrow.
yeah, a little Colombian woman, taller than him.
And now you're here like fulfilling the new prophecy. Like you're gonna like rizz your wife with the eyebrow, and
That's how it's gonna go.
that's just how the Marco lineage is.
They don't
gonna
fall for the
go.
eyebrow.
Other realizations, or what have you noticed so far? I mean, it's very early
it's
to
too
tell.
early to tell for classes or anything. I just had my first class today. I had an 8 a.m. My first 8 a.m. in college. I thought I'd go my whole 4 years without having to do one, but here we are. Honestly, it wasn't that bad. The walk in the morning, it was super foggy, but it was super chill. It was so pretty. Actually, I had a class last week. Classes started on Thursday, but I forgot and I missed it. So off to a
You actually had a class on Thursday.
yeah.
You were trotting around like, huh? You have class today? Huh? Peasant. I don't have any classes, but
I know, yeah.
Well, here
I
we are.
realized after there's on the class selection, there's M, for the dates for the days of the week, there's M, T, W, and instead of Thursday being TH,
It's an R.
It's an R.
It's an R
So I
instead
thought that
of
was
a TH.
remote. Like, oh, I'll figure it out later. It wasn't remote. It was Thursday.
So for those who aren't in like UC college, like if you have a class on Wednesday and you're signing up for it, it'll give you like a W, which means like this class happens on Wednesday. Same with Monday, it's an M. Tuesday's a T, but for some reason Thursday is an R. That I actually had to go double check. I had to call someone because I'm like, why the hell would Thursday be R? R is like what, like the fifth letter of
Yeah, there's
Thursday?
an R pretty far into Thursday.
Yeah.
It's like a million. HURSDAY. There are 8 other letters you could choose.
Just make it a Y at that point.
Yeah.
But actually, I want to explain a story from my class experience so far, because part of the reason I came to Santa Barbara is because I was like, oh, I heard the academics are better. Santa Cruz, it's a very humanities school, and as a math major, I just like couldn't fit in. I was literally at the point where I was taking my math lectures in like auditoriums and theaters just because they didn't have a math department. So I came here thinking it was smooth sailing, but first day of class in the morning, I have computer science. Then at 2 p.m., I have linear algebra. And then I go to differential equations. So far, all of my classes, my professors, they were great. I liked all of it, and they were just articulate and wanted to teach. But I went to differential equations, and this guy walks in like super, super thick Asian accent, like to the point where the class couldn't understand him. Within the first 5 minutes, 3 people had to ask him to like just use a microphone. Like he had to get it because no one could hear him, and he refused to enunciate. And what happened is that within the first 30 minutes, he was just glazing over all of this material so fast in a way that no one had any idea what he was talking about.
I mean, glossing?
No, glazing.
Glazing
I
over.
love glazing.
Is it glossing over or glazing over?
Okay, it is glossing over, but I like glazing, so I'm going to say glazing.
Okay.
Anyway, that's funny because I was anti-glazing him at the end, but we were going through the material. He was not, like, the whole class was tapped out. Like, you couldn't understand this guy. 15 people, including the guy next to me, had already walked out of class because they were going to switch because no one could understand him. And I straight up said to him, I was like, Professor, in front of 150 people in this auditorium, I was like, you seem very well prepared and you seem very knowledgeable, but because of your accent, a lot of people in this class are having a hard time hearing you. And I think it would be best for the students to get the most out of their learning experience if we had another professor. And so I said this to him in front of the whole class, like during lecture, and he got heated. He was just like, "You need to pay more attention." Like you're like, "What? Not gonna happen. Absolutely not gonna happen." Like he was the kind of guy, like, obviously, like I didn't want to be like, we need a new professor, but I'm in a class with a lot of like underclassmen. Like they didn't have the balls. Like after I said this, like the people around me, they were dapping me up. They're like, "Thank you." Like we needed somebody to be like tell us this, because everyone unanimously was like, we just can't hear this guy. So I ended up getting in an argument with my professor first day. I'm gonna have to go to the math department and try and get another one.
I'm assuming you're transferring that class.
I can't stay in that class. There's no way. I mean, no one could hear him. It was this unanimous class vibe that like everyone was like, we got to get out of here.
Do you think that if you stayed, he'd have a chip on his shoulder and
So that's where I'm at now, because he was super like, like, I don't know, I happen to be familiar with East Asian culture, and it's there's an emphasis on working hard, but there was sort of a negative element to that, in that every single question he took is like, it was almost like we were attacking his intellect versus like we were asking the question itself. And I just don't like that, because I feel like if you're in an academic setting, you want to encourage questions, because that's what facilitates deep learning. And he was just not having any of that. So already I knew I had to get out of there. And the fact that we literally got in an argument first day, it's not going to work out. It's just not. How are your classes so far?
Pretty good. Just 2 politics classes so far, or econ and politics. Pretty chill. My econ teacher seems super nice. No crazy like yelling matches. No, I haven't gone into a fight with any of my teachers yet.
By the way, in general, like I feel like I credit myself. I'm like very polite, but it's just when something is flagrant, I'm like, if no one's gonna call it out, but it should be, like I'm gonna be the one. But go on.
I'm a total pushover, but that's just me.
Pushover?
I feel like
No, you're not.
You sure? I disagree. I don't know. I feel like I let a lot
You're
slide.
a glazer.
A glazer? I mean a glosser? I don't know. I feel like I'm thinking about if I was in that situation,
Yeah.
I would probably just transfer. I wouldn't like say anything. I just go like, all right, like I'd be one of those 15 who just stands up, gets out of class. Like, I don't want to fight with a teacher, like especially if I'm just leaving.
15
It's
people
not worth it
walked
for
out
me.
in the first lecture. Like how do you do that bad?
I don't know. I
Like,
mean,
that's
maybe it
a
was his first
generational
class.
fumble.
I mean, generational fumble.
Bro ended his bloodline with that lecture. Like it's cooked.
Yeah, but no, my classes were pretty good.
Okay.
Really nice. I'm econ, really nice old lady. Like she was just like, I want to make this class as good as possible for you guys. I know it's your 8 a.m. Like, all this. She was like, oh, how do you want like points to be distributed? Just super accommodating. Like I can already tell from the get go that she's gonna be like in the student's court, which I've isn't always the case with teachers. Some of them are very my way or the highway. I mean, I've had a number of teachers like that, and it's kind of like you just deal with it. But she seemed really nice, and I'm even as an 8 a.m., I'm excited to go back. The material we're going to cover, we barely discussed it in its first day, syllabus day, but seems really engaging. And our second one is politics. It's a French teacher. She has a small French accent. I'm looking forward to, if I'm struggling in the class, just playing on my French and raising her up, ça dit quoi, like, tu parles français, some shit like that.
And I have to say, because this is the third college I've been to. Let's see, at this point I've been to 3 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, 2 high schools, and 3 colleges. So I've had a lot of professors and teaching. Yeah, UC Santa Cruz, Complutense in Madrid, and Santa Barbara. So I've had a lot of professors, and I've just found like you can like instantly tell the first day. Like my very first lecture of college, it was actually an econ lecture, and I went in and I just hated the vibe, and I instantly transferred out. And that was like one of the better decisions I made, because I replaced it for a class that I enjoyed, And it was a math class, and it actually ended up showing in my internships this summer. Like over the summer, I worked as a prompt engineer for an AI company and a website developer. And so for the prompt engineer things, I have to write math problems that will stump AI large language models, and like literally the things I used in class were appearing in my job. So like that was like the first time for me as a math major. They say math is everywhere, but it's not. Arithmetic is everywhere. You add numbers, you multiply numbers, but you don't use calculus in your day. But this is the first time like that a math concept that I learned in class actually appeared in like a professional setting and like helped me in my job. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I worked at a sauna this summer.
Okay, okay. Wait, but hang on. I forgot what I was saying. What I was saying is I've had a lot of professors at my time, so you need to find one that is like about the students. You'll find some professors teach to show other people how knowledgeable they are. It's like an insecurity thing, but some teachers are there like they like leave their egos at the door. They'll like answer your questions, like they're there to help you learn, and those are the kind of professors like you need in your class. But anyway, go on.
I mean, that was it. I worked at you have this whole extensive, I worked on computational problems that will stump AI, and I worked at a sauna. It was nice though. It was chill. Yeah, I mean, but also sometimes going back to hard teachers, I mean, it's, sometimes you kind of just get fucked by a class that's mandatory. You have to take it.
Yeah, this one's needed for my major. Like I have to take it, so I don't know what I'm gonna do.
And they might switch the professor next spring or winter.
Exactly.
They do that a lot. So, if enough people complain, I mean, if people are dropping the class, why have 30 people dropped this class already? Why have 100 people dropped this class?
Exactly.
Especially, if people are lodging complaints formally.
Right. And it's like, no offense to this guy, and especially not to his culture either, but like, if you're in a position where you're up trying to teach people things and people cannot hear you because your accent's too thick, then you shouldn't be up there. Like just plain and simple. It's nothing to do, like, it's nothing against your culture or who you are as a person. But like, if you're a professor, your job is to explain things to students. And if you lack that and you're incoherent or people can't understand you, then I don't think you should be up there.
Yeah, I've never had any.
Really? What's like the worst professor experience you've had?
Well, in terms of language, I had a TA last year it was actually a math class. And he was also Asian. He was from China.
Right.
Super chill guy though. I was lucky that it was only for a section. And the workaround for that is because, I liked him. I wanted to stay in the section. I just, after class and all that, I'd call him over to my table and I'd ask him to explain things in a bit more detail. But again, that was a TA for a section. That wasn't the entire class. Also, I paid very little attention in that class.
Exactly.
But that was that's a separate issue.
That's what my professor said to me after I called him out in front of the whole class. I was like, "I'm sorry, sir. We need another professor." He was like, "You don't pay attention." Like that's what he said to me. Like, but I was literally front and center. It was a 150-person lecture hall. I was literally in the front row in the middle.
There's just an inability to take personal criticism, which is just, no matter where you're from, no matter anything, I feel like an inability to take criticism, especially from the audience that you're trying to cater to, kind of shows that, even if you're really smart, even if you know your material, any culture aside, that's just not something that you should bring into teaching. It just, you need to grow a bit more as a person and be able to, obviously what you said wasn't personal. So I think it's just, you have to mature emotionally to be able to take criticism to traits that you need in order to complete a job.
It's like, I come from an academic background. My grandpa, he taught at Cornell. My grandma also taught French studies and existentialism. And, I have a whole lot of other academic connections, but just, I think what's at the forefront of academia is a transparency to like, this is what I want you as students to get out of this course, and leaving your ego at the door. Like, I've had a lot of professors, like in high school, I would goon, like we made our poor chemistry teacher cry first day because we were just trolling too hard. But like, once you get into college, like, you weed out all the people who are just gonna like do things other than do things other than college after high school, and you have a lot of people here who they are here to learn and they want to be here, and you still have these professors who are lagging that have personal vendettas against students. They take things personally when a student asks their question, and I just think academia as a whole should be somewhere where people can feel free to ask questions and talk about things openly. Like, college used to be this place you could share ideas. That's another reason we left UC Santa Cruz. There's a very how would you describe the culture there?
Stupid.
Yeah. Like,
very colorful adjective. I know. I mean, it's very, PC, kind of liberal, kind of. I mean, it's neither of those things are inherently bad, but there is an insistence that everybody follow them and that everybody, we're both liberal. I think you're liberal. You're liberal. Oh, yeah. But I mean, you have your stand-up comedy thing that I'm sure you'll talk about in a sec. It's very, it's just, there's no room for expression. It's very kindness all the time. You have to say the right things. You have to, show up this certain way. And if you don't, then you're labeled a certain way that you're absolutely not a lot of the times. It's just, unless you are 100% adhering to certain codes, that the school holds and that the people that the culture holds, then you're demonized. And it's not everyone demonizing it. It's a small vocal majority that really don't like certain aspects.
Yeah, I think you use the adjectives PC and liberal, which I think are in the right vein, but I'd say it's not liberal. It's far left, but it's extreme far left, in that it's so far left that even if you're a moderate liberal, you are seen relatively as the right. You're seen as conservative if you hold moderate liberal beliefs, because they all hold, not all, but a lot of them hold far left beliefs. And it was hard because we're both Jewish by heritage, and it was a very politically charged time with the whole Israel-Palestine thing, and there was a lot of underlying anti-Semitic themes that I think I diagnosed at UC Santa Cruz. I actually timed my escape to Spain perfectly, because that's when there were all the encampments and people blockading the entrances
shit
to
hit the
school.
fan. It was pretty. I mean, as someone who was there,
talk about that. I mean, I wasn't there.
I mean, wow, we're going into some pretty crazy territory for the first. I mean, yeah. It was a very divisive time in Santa Cruz this last quarter. Well, there was an encampment right out of. I lived on campus my second year. I was in an apartment, and right across the street was, for 2 or 3 weeks, was where these protesters decided to have their encampment. And what that means, that, for those of you who aren't clued in, is, tents. It's people just lived in this parking lot area. They put up tents, they put up barricades.
People's Park Corps.
People's Park Corps. Berkeley, there's this park where a bunch of homeless people were at. And then the city wanted to tear it down for,
They tore it down?
Yeah, it's covered with containers now, shipping containers.
Oh my God.
To keep people from coming in.
It's like that one Fortnite location.
Yeah, like that one Fortnite.
That one Fortnite location. Anyway.
Which Fortnite location?
I don't know. It's a Fortnite location.
Explain it. No, but anyway, so there's this huge encampment, barricades, people bringing food, people stayed there. And around this time, UCLA and the encampments at the other UCs, I think, was it Columbia University? The encampments in other schools were raided by the police. People were beaten, people were taken away into jail, all that stuff. And eventually the encampment moved from this part inside of the campus. Santa Cruz is in a forest. It's very isolated, and there are 2 entrances to Santa Cruz, to the UC itself. and they both there's one street that goes in, and then it splits off into two, and those two ways are how you get into the campus proper. And so what the protesters ended up doing is moving their encampment all the way to the bottom of the hill at that intersection, on like near the street, on the street, barricading the streets, the roads. So, there was no foot travel, it was only foot travel in and out, buses, any of that, cars, nothing was allowed in, which was, I disagreed with that. Security services, medical services, buses, like everyone was stranded. It's a pretty far walk from the campus down to any part of town. So, it was, the food couldn't get restocked. It was
a major issue from what I heard.
It was a pretty big issue. Eventually, about a weekend, I think it was a Tuesday or something. I don't know. Me and my roommates went down. The police end up showing up, and it's like a 12-hour standoff there from, I think, 12 p.m. Actually, 8-hour standoff, like 12 p.m. to 8 a.m.
Wow.
The police just surround the encampment on all sides and just slowly start marching in. I was on this like side area, like looking in. There's a bunch of people, and they really just weeded out everybody who really wasn't like gonna, stake their life for this encampment. I left it around.
The police were the ones doing the weeding, or who?
Yeah, the police circled, but they let people leave. They and for 8 hours they were just like leave, disperse, all that, until it was the very last, like I think 50 or 80 people, who remained up until the morning. There was a live stream that somebody in the encampment was showing. Me and my roommates were watching that. We actually got stranded at the bottom of campus for 4 or 5 hours. We had just ended up walking up. We were like, all right, we're not going to wait. So at like 5 a.m., we just walked back to campus. It was like a 45-minute walk. But yeah, I know. So the police encircled these people, and they just kept marching in, and then they took them off in the school buses actually to the jail. And I said, there's a lot of videos of that. There was a live stream that somebody had up until they were arrested. It was very, classes got canceled. It was huge. It was, teachers went on strike for solidarity. Teachers went on strike because they couldn't get to class. There were various reasons, but a lot of things got moved. A lot of things got canceled. One of my classes wanted to convene at the rec center, like at the bottom of campus or something. And I just, they had Zoom options. So I did it on Zoom. Yeah. I was not about to walk all the way down. Like, I don't.
But bottom line, from what I've heard, is that it was so significant that they literally blocked the entrances to campus. Like I was still like partially enrolled because I was in Spain at the time, but I was getting the emails of like classes canceled, like the power's off, like Hagar Road is like blocked by the protesters. Like they literally shut down the university for
a lot
like
of emails
days.
Too for like disperse, like from the chancellor Cynthia. She was like, "Oh, you guys got to leave, like disperse, all that." I'm sure you got those too.
Yeah,
she sent like 4, like throughout I think it was 3 weeks that they had their thing, 3 or 4 weeks. Just emails, classes are canceled, everything that you said. Yeah, it was big, and honestly, even Santa Cruz, like we still had it pretty easy. Like there were some.
Right, I heard at UCLA it got really squirrely.
It was way bigger. It was a lot more intense. Cops here, they roughed up some of the protesters that were remaining. They're just like, but I heard in LA or Colombia or some other school, they came in full riot gear, full they full force. That was big. But even for Santa Cruz, it was big. I don't know what happened in Santa Barbara. I heard there was an encampment, but it was pretty out of the way, pretty pretty chill. I don't know what ended up happening to that, but
it's just interesting that these things are taking place on specifically college campuses. Like I know college campuses, by and large, I think the studies have shown remarkable skews towards liberals in college campuses nationwide.
And start on college campuses. In the U.S. at least, it's teens and people who, are seeing things in the world and want to make some sort of change.
But like the United Nations Committee, it started at San Francisco. I heard maybe it started at UC Berkeley. I'm not sure, but yeah, there's a lot of big movements. But I guess I was kind of confused. Like, I'm sure nationwide there's a lot of protests, but the fact that they seem to be centrally located along college campuses was a bit. I didn't expect it.
I mean, it's yeah, it's where things happen. Um,
Which is good for activism. I mean, people are voicing their opinions, and most people are open to like different points of view, which is good. But
I mean, most students I spoke to, even I mean, they were all very. I mean, a lot of them support those issues. Even the ones that didn't were pretty chill about it. The ones that had their reservations about, I don't like how this is inconveniencing me and all that. They weren't outraged. They were like, all right, like we understand. It's like we also support like people's right to protest. My roommate in Santa Cruz, one of them, I was in 8-person. He was very like even though I don't like these protests, I don't like how they're inconveniencing me. I like that there is still a right to protest. I like how people can still make their voices heard. And I don't think that this should be taken away from them.
Yeah, First Amendment right. It's very important.
Yeah.
I think that coupled with free speech, like I like to visualize Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the big triangle where, it starts with your physical needs and then emotional needs and so on and so forth. I feel like that's great because that's what democracy is founded on. I feel like first and foremost, the freedom to express yourself, the First Amendment, like that's a crucial layer. And then on top of it is free speech. I know free speech in the last couple of years with cancel culture, it's gotten a little bit controversial, but I think for the most part, I like how a lot of these UCs, they favor activism. And I like how...
I think we should be able to yell fire in a theater.
And bomb in the airport.
Bomb in the airport.
Yeah.
Why can't we say the B word?
Yeah. But bomb. Like here, it's fine.
Booty.
Yeah.
It's just the 3 B's. Yeah, we should do a controversial take every episode.
Okay. No,
bomb in the theater. No.
Okay, bomb it. Yeah. 9-month abortions. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs.
I actually believe 9-month abortion. I think.
All right. Is this where we're going?
This is where we're going. I am a very like body autonomy type of guy. I think.
What the hell does that mean? You're a body autonomy type of guy.
You should be able to do anything with your body. That the government should have the most minimal limits on human autonomy as possible.
Okay.
And this is very controversial. I think. And we're back.
We might need to cut that part out. I don't know. We're gonna see the final cut.
Yeah. Don't do your edits.
Wow,
and knows a thing or two about iMovie.
Yeah. Candid iMovie user. Premiere Pro. That's one thing. UC Santa Barbara and all UCs, I'm pretty sure, give you access to the free Adobe products.
I gotta get on that.
So I've been using Photoshop, Premiere Pro, and like Lightroom for all of this stuff. Like the thumbnail of this video is gonna be in Photoshop. I love making thumbnails.
What are you gonna edit? Like, can I get a hat?
I'll take a picture of you and I'll like cut you out.
What?
Like from the background. Like there's no background. It's just like you. You'll have to hear me on this.
Can I get a hat?
You can get a hat. What hat do you want? Like sombrero?
So, because I'm Colombian.
Yeah.
When back in 5th grade, I used to wear a fez. Like those red hats.
Bro's so French.
No, it's not French. I think it's Turkish. I watched Doctor Who. I was a big Doctor Who fan. And one of the like tagline things that they did, one of their iconic like things was wearing a fez from time to time. It was like those red hats that are like, cylindrical. And I just wore that like almost every day of 5th grade. I just wore a fez because
that's hard.
Yeah, I mean, it was
fez stays on in the bedroom.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it was just a thing I started to wear. Thing? I actually had 2 fezzes.
Okay.
One of them it was black, and the other one was one of them was a darker red with a black little string, and the other one, it was bigger, so I didn't wear it as often.
Okay.
It It was just like a bright red. It was like a Doctor Who merch fez.
Okay.
The string ended up falling off of the black one, so it was just a red
Okay.
little
Fair-
fez. But
fair
yeah, no,
enough.
it was
Fair enough.
It was my fez phase. I had a lot of phases in elementary school. I mean, this was 5th grade.
Okay. Fez phase.
Fez phase.
Okay. You're in your bit phase now. Does your phone turn on? Do you want to show them?
What's the bit?
No. Your old
Oh,
phone.
I'm gonna get it.
Is it on?
No, it actually had a battery.
Okay.
I smashed my phone. This is a new phone actually.
Well, but explain the context of you smashing your phone.
So you know how you drop things, but imagine if I dropped it really quickly, horizontally, like this, really fast.
I think the word you're looking for is intentionally dropped it fast horizontally.
Normally it doesn't do that when I throw it or drop it horizontally, and this time it did. It was a 12. It was its time to go.
Well, we were like
I'll be better next time.
We were in the room and like I forget exactly what it was, but you were like
blacked out for like 30 seconds. You were not present with me and our boy, and he saw
Wait,
it
when
all.
did I black out?
I mean, you were just like you were in
Not
the
like
room.
drunk, you mean like
no,
just
like you just disassociated.
Oh, yeah.
And then you were like, wait, what happened? And then you went and you just got my phone and you were like, oh, and I was like, oh.
But like I feel like you were like swiping on Tinder and you like didn't get matched or something. Like something so minor.
It was some like
and you just saw red and you just across the room.
it was for the bit. I mean,
onto we have like concrete tiles in our room and he threw it right onto there and I went to retrieve his phone and it's just like chessboard.
I thought he was doing a bit when he was like, oh.
No, I knew you thought so, but I picked it up. It's like cracked, like the screen's fucked. It's like
It was it was just like it was squares
it was like
on squares.
but like broken, like completely broken. Like
Actually, it was in
just
two
squares.
pieces.
Oh yeah,
Remember,
that's
like
true.
the
Oh, yeah,
the
it was
outer
in two
casing
pieces.
of the phone had split in two.
Yeah.
I had to like push it back to it didn't do anything. So now it's in a box out of battery, and I got it. I mean, it was time.
Okay.
I have summer money.
Hey,
I bought a new phone. It was a sign.
Don't do things for the bit, guys. For those of you watching it, it's not worth it.
I will be doing more things for the bit. I've
Okay,
learned
hopefully
nothing
not
from this
breaking
lesson.
your-
Yeah,
your
no,
freaking phone.
you know, you live and you learn. You live and you learn.
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, we've had a
how long
pretty
have we been-
nifty conversation. We've gone from let's see. Wait, get the mic close to you. I just
Yeah,
got a
that's a
new
nice
camera.
camera.
like right before this.
52
I just went
minutes.
to Best Buy.
Been talking for 52 minutes.
52 minutes. Okay, that's a valid length. I think so. I only last 5, so I think that's pretty good.
5.
Damn.
I'm lasting 2.
Let's see.
This is a
We-
joke,
we
ladies. I can last a very long time.
strictly for comedic.
Women love me.
Yes. Fish fear me.
Hear me.
Let's see. We started off UC Santa Barbara, contrasting it, and then we went to the broader UC system. Then we went to freaking politics. Then we went to bits, and breaking our phones. We did a little
Fez, yeah. Oh, we were talking about what hat to Photoshop me in the thumbnail.
Oh yeah,
I'll take a
Photoshop
sombrero.
you. Okay. Do you have a sombrero?
No, I'm Colombian.
Well, same thing.
You, sir, are racist.
No, it's just homophobic. What are you saying about sombrero? You want a sombrero?
I'll take a sombrero.
And I can Photoshop. No, that would be so random if I Photoshop a sombrero on you. But I could do it. That could just be like for the LinkedIn or something.
All right, no hats. We've decided.
Okay, fair enough.
Give me like cool sunglasses. I want, if you're photoshopping a thumbnail, I want something cool.
I'll give you something cool.
Okay.
I'll show it. They'll see it on the thumbnail. It's gonna be pretty bomb.
But you can't say that in an airport.
I can't say that in an airport. No.
It will be pretty.
No. It'd be pretty. The B word.
Buttocks.
Buttocks. But anyways, I mean, I think that wraps it up here. Like we got our first episode.
I mean, yeah,
Oh, wait,
we're
hold on.
figuring it out.
What's up, Ivan?
What's up, Ivan?
Yeah, talk to a podcast, bro. Nah, you ain't saying nothing yet, bro.
Oh, recording you right now?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're just wrapping it up. Yeah.
That was our roommate, Ivan.
Roommate Ivan.
Sweet mate, actually.
Sweet mate.
Sweet mate.
That's true.
We have we're the only dorms. We're San Rafael in Santa Barbara. We're the only dorm to actually have like a living room, suite. There's this living room, there's 2 rooms, and a nice spacious bathroom.
So you can thank me, because I was still in Spain when I was selecting housing. I'd go onto the webinars for housing at like 3 a.m. local time, because it's like a 9-hour difference from California. And I was just like where I was like researching like what location, like what dorm do we want. And hey, living room, it's not perfect, but I think we did pretty good for ourselves.
I just realized that when we get famous, we'll have Haley Welsh from the Talk to a podcast to thank for this inspiration.
The Talk to a podcast or the Hawk to a podcast?
The Talk to a, she said Hawk to a, but the podcast is Talk to a, and we'll have her I'll have to thank her for the inspiration.
Exactly.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah. And there's a local pet. We should collab with whoever that is. The Whatever podcast. Have you guys seen the Whatever podcast? It's like a local one at like Santa Barbara.
Yeah, well, actually, it's interesting.
This is the Whenever podcast.
However podcast.
Or this is the Communicate Tour.
You need to leave.
Yeah. Anyway, guys.
We're gonna deadpan the camera.
What, deadpan it? Yeah, we can run that. We can definitely run that.
Yeah, just do a deadpan.
I'll do a deadpan. Anyways, thank you so much for making it this far. Thank you for looking at 2 degenerates talk about nothing and talk about politics for whatever reason. I'm Evan.
I'm Marco.
Thank you guys. Talk to you later.
Xiao Hong Shu.
Xiao Hong Shu.